this is Danae from Cooking with Danae, and today I'm getting ready to make jambalaya. You know that March 8th is Mardi Gras, and to get into the festivities, I'd like to demonstrate how you make traditional Louisiana jambalaya. And we're going to start with our Dutch oven that has both a little bit of canola oil and butter, and I'm going to add our onions. And don't worry about getting all of this down. I'm going to provide the recipe for you. And there's about a cup of onions here. I'm going to start with the Holy Trinity, which is the onions, the celery, bell pepper, and the green onion. And what we're going to do, and I know it looks like a lot, it's about a cup and a half of each one of those vegetables, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to saute all of this and until the vegetables are slightly, I guess they're going to be still crunchy, but slightly, like very, very soft. As you can tell, we're still here sauteing our Holy Trinity, which is our celery, our bell peppers, our onions, green onions. I'm going to add our garlic, and this is just about a teaspoon and a half of garlic. And I'd like to now add, this is just a little smoked turkey sausage that I've cut up into tiny bits. And I know some people in their jambalaya, they will have it cut in rounds. It just depends on what you want to do. You want to make sure you're sauteing on all your vegetables over a relatively high heat. And I wish you could smell this. If we had smell-o-vision, you'd be able to see that this is absolutely wonderful and smells divine. This is a dish, as I said before, that you can pull together in a matter of minutes and it feeds a crowd. This will serve at least 8 people or 4 really, really hungry folks. Jambalaya is a rice dish. There are a lot of different cultures that have a dish similar to this. Paella is one that's prepared by people who live in Spain. You'll notice that I used, and if you can see them here, I used the orange bell peppers. And I had some green bell peppers. You can use any you want, as long as they're sweet peppers. And we're going to, as you can see, we're going to just let this continue to cook for about 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes or so. Alrighty, and now we're sauteing our Holy Trinity and our sausage, and the next thing we're going to do is add our seasoning. Now you see I'm preparing this in a Dutch oven. I know everyone probably doesn't have one. This is very, very old. I believe it belonged to my grandmother, and she may have gotten it from her mom, so my great-grandmother, and I don't know where she got it from, but it's been passed down. And we're gonna, with still on the high heat, we're going to add our seasonings. Now what I have in here is the cumin. I've got some black pepper, dry mustard, a little bit of onion powder, some gumbo filé, some thyme, cayenne pepper, and a tiny bit of basil. A little bit of salt. The stock that I'm going to add with the rice has salt in it, so I'm going to be really careful about the amount of salt that I add to this dish. It's always better in this particular dish to undersalt and not oversalt. So what I'm going to do, with everything hot, I'm going to add all of the seasonings. And it's going to look really strange. But you want to get those seasonings in there. It's going to be very concentrated with flavor. And you really want to coat all of the vegetables with the seasoning. Next, I'm going to add the rice. And jambalaya is made with long grain rice, just plain white rice. I suppose you could use brown rice. I've never made it with brown rice. And we want to stir and add. We want to make sure every grain of rice is covered with not only the seasoning, the vegetable, the sausage. This imparts really great flavor to this dish. And I'm using about 2 cups of rice. Uncooked rice. And as I said, I'm using long grain white rice. And I know this look, no, it's not washed. It's right out of the package. You don't want to wash it. This is one of those dishes that's going to come out better if you don't wash the rice. If you look carefully, you will see that the little grains of rice are actually cooking. They're turning very white, and that's what you want. Now, I'm going to add the stock in just a moment. Now, I've been just tossing and sauteing the rice and the vegetables and the smoked sausage, and I'm going to add my stock. I have approximately 4 cups of beef stock. This is canned stock. I've had 1 low sodium, 1 that's just a regular beef broth. You can use chicken. I prefer to use the beef. And we're going to add that, and it's going to bubble and smoke. And this is a wonderful thing. This is exactly what it's supposed to do. And you want it to do just this. I wish you could smell this. What we're going to do is bring this to a boil. And once it's brought to a boil, we're going to place a lid on it and let it cook for approximately 20 to 30 minutes. And it really depends on, I tell you, the humidity. Rice is funny when it cooks. It may take 20 minutes sometimes, and maybe 25 or 30. If you need to add a little bit more water, that's fine. Right now, I'm going to add some cooked chicken, and I have 2 types. I'm adding chopped chicken thighs that have been boned and skinned. And I'm also adding chicken breasts, just little cubes. And we're going to stir this together, and we're going to let this come to a boil. And as I stated, your jambalaya is going to need to cook for approximately 20 to 30 minutes. It may even take a little bit longer. As you can see, it's bubbling right now. Once it starts to boil, I'm going to turn it down to a medium heat, and then I'm going to let it simmer for 20 minutes. I'll come back, I'll check it. I do want to add one thing. When in this jambalaya, one main ingredient I didn't mention was the gumbo filet, and that's sassafras leaves. Now the interesting thing, it's any brand, but Zatarain's is the brand that I use. What I want you to be aware of is when you purchase sassafras leaves, please look at the ingredients. Sometimes gumbo filet is cut with thyme leaves. If it says sassafras and thyme, don't purchase it. You need a pure product, a clean product. So you only want gumbo filet, just sassafras, ground sassafras leaves only. Okay, we're going to let this simmer. I'm going to put a lid on it, and we'll come back in a bit and check it. Well, we've been cooking the jambalaya now for about 20 minutes, and as you can see, it's starting to, the rice is starting to cook. It's still not fluffy, so we're going to let it continue to cook for another 10 minutes, 12 minutes or so, or until the rice is done. Your rice should never be crunchy, but if you can notice that all of the stock is being absorbed, and it's on medium heat right now, and I'm going to put the cast iron lid to my Dutch oven back on it and let this simmer for a little bit longer. We'll be back in a minute. Well, we're back, and it took about 34 minutes for the jambalaya to finish. If you look closely, you'll see the grains pull apart, and it is ready to be served. I'm so glad you could be with me and watch me prepare this wonderful jambalaya, and as I said, the recipe will be available on cookingwithdanae.com.